welcome to this ET Now special episode of Startup Central. I'm Nayanthara Rai. Why is it a special episode? Well, we've come to this, as you can see, a very busy street in Noida. This is Sector 63. You see sites like this all over, right? Small merchants, shops, lots of people. And it is here that we're going to be talking about financial inclusion. We've all talked about, the opening of the bank account, the success of the UPI. Those are, of course, the foundation, the building blocks, as you can see. The adoption is the next big thing. And in the middle of all of this, the RBI governor has also thrown in the digital rupee into the system. That and more is what I'm going to be discussing with the MD and CEO of Fino Payments Bank, who's visiting Delhi. So I said, please meet me in one of these streets where you do a lot of business. Mr. Gupta, welcome to Delhi. Fabulous weather. Can't promise a good air quality though.
No, it's always nice to be in Delhi, in the heart of the city, a buzzing street, lot of activity around. This is the real world. This is the real Bharat.
World. Yeah, I know we call it Bharat, India, but this is
Absolutely.
This is what it's all about. Financial inclusion.
This is where the 800-900 million people are living all over the country. So this is the place where you can do business, and there's a real need for banking in this area. So that's what we are doing.
Do you go out often? And into these kind of streets and figure out how things are
absolutely.
working?
We have to go to the field to understand what are the customer requirements, how the business growing, what are we seeing in the market, how is the...
You have merchants in this here?
Yeah, we have merchants.
Which is why you called me to this particular street.
No, there are a lot of merchants around. Delhi is a very populous city, and we have a lot of merchants around, a lot of business around remittances, withdrawals, bank accounts, money transfers. So it's a busy period for us, and especially the fact that there's a lot of migrants who come from outside of Delhi and want to work in Delhi. This anyway is an industrial place, so you will see a lot of migrants who come here and transfer money to their homes every day in, day out. So it's a good business to be in. It's a real need of the customers, because banks and branches are only working for so many hours in the day, and they are not.
How many
working on the
merchants
weekend.
do you have? Like, you said about 900 million who live like this. So, other target customers.
Yeah.
I should put it like this: 900 million target customers. How many do you already have?
So we have about 12 lakh merchants. They cover about 95% of the country, 95% of the districts of the country. These are your typical mom and pop shops. Like the merchants you see here, these are all our potential. These shops are potential merchants for us. So for them, they already have walk-in customers who come to buy something, and then on the top of it, if they are able to do withdrawal, transfer money, they don't need to go to the branch. They don't need to go to an ATM. So we are there wherever the hub is there, like in this industrial hub. So we have a lot of merchants around this space who are able to access and give them service.
So now tell me one thing. And I'm telling you as an observer. Now 2 years, of course, we were all locked up in COVID-19. So now when one goes out...
But our merchants are open.
Yeah, they were open, right? And also now when you go out as an observer, you tend to observe a lot more.
Yeah.
Now I would imagine when Fino Payments Bank comes, or Paytm comes, or even a Pine Labs comes, or a Phone Pay comes, that merchant is keeping everyone's POS machine, right? I know that's not your end game, and that's what I want you to explain to our viewers how you're doing it different.
So we see our objective is that one is that we are focusing on this segment of the customers, the people who are in that bracket of 3 lakh to 5 lakh rupees of annual income. So that's our target audience. Secondly, when we look at household income. So when we look at the target merchant, when you talk about Phone Pay and others, they are largely providing acquiring services, like if you want to use your POS or a QR code. Whereas Fino is a banking point. So you come here, you can withdraw cash, you can deposit cash, you can do remittances, you can open an account, you can do insurance, you can take a loan. So it's a full-fledged banking outlet. So that's the difference between a normal merchant point where you come for payment acquiring, but vis-a-vis Fino where you come for a banking service. So that's where we are different from some others. Our competitors are largely Airtel Payments Bank, India Post, Paytm Payments Bank. They are our competition in the payment. So market share depends upon product to product. So when I look at remittances, we would be about 25 to 30% of the total market. Micro ATM, we are about upwards of 30% in that market share. APS, we are about the fourth largest with about 13% market share. I think when it comes to bank account opening, our bank account proposition is very different. We open our account right at the doorstep, and we give a debit card Hatho-Hath. So Hatho-Hath. So you can open an account and you can get a debit card Hatho-Hath. It's a completely PIN KYC based process. It's a very convenient process compared to the normal way you open an account, you get an ATM
I
card
can't even
later.
say we'll do a demo because then it'll be a fraudulent bank account.
And no, we can show you a transaction. If you want, we can open a bank account for you. But
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you. But yeah, that's
full
the need of the
KYC,
customer.
Full KYC.
It's a completely KYC, eKYC project. We
But
take
tell me
the Aadhaar
something.
card and
Now
then
we
link
are
it.
here. Now
Yeah.
we all see our full KYC. People like me, a lot of our viewers are doing it in the comfort of our homes. There are people who help us out. When you come to a street like this, and where you yourself are saying the household income is up to 5 lakh rupees,
Yeah, that's the focus.
what is the challenge in the full KYC at that juncture?
So Aadhaar has actually democratized the entire KYC process, and almost everybody.
I know we're
almost-
not supposed to duplicate identities.
No,
but
no,
it's happening,
I
right?
don't think so. There are duplicate Aadhaar cards. But what is important is that most of the people have Aadhaar card, and their KYC is there on the Aadhaar card. So when they come with the Aadhaar card, we do an electronic KYC, and through the electronic KYC, we are able to link it to the Aadhaar platform and open an account then and there. So this is the way we are looking at opening bank accounts. That is the way the entire Bharat is able to get bank accounts as such and do transactions. In fact, if you look at Aadhaar payment system, AEPS, which started about 4-5 years back, and during the COVID period when the bank branches and ATMs were not working or not functionally working full time, that time a lot of people came to our merchant point and transferred money or withdrawn money through the EPS platform. So the Aadhaar EPS platform works on the Aadhaar authentication mechanism. So that is the way the entire Bharat is now moving into that. In fact, I would say fingerprints is the most secured way of doing transactions compared to sharing a PIN or doing it through a PIN-based ecosystem.
Okay. So you prefer biometrics. You'll have the
Yeah.
privacy.
There is no problem with that.
No, but you will have the fingerprints now, so you'll have that.
No, we don't store the fingerprints. The transaction
You have it in
happens.
your database.
No, we don't have it. It goes to Aadhaar. It directly goes.
That's
we
what
don't.
they have an issue with now. The
But
government is
that is
collecting.
where the Aadhaar. That is a citizen.
That is what I'm saying. That you're opening a Pandora's box with that thing. Now, before we go to one of your merchant shops, let's address. I can't even say elephant in the room over here. The big question and what a lot of our viewers will want to know. Now, serious money has been lost also by retail investors. You IPO'd over a year ago, along with the likes of a Nykaa, Zomato, Paytm, Policy Bazaar. Stock prices are trading 70 to 80% below the high. There's some who will say this is very oversold. Whatever the situation might be, as a big boss at Fino, what do you have to say when you look at the stock price and the reaction of the market?
No, it's unfortunate, definitely unfortunate that the prices have not lived up to the expectation of the investors. Having said that, there was a global meltdown also which happened around a year back. And most of the technology stock, new age companies, fintechs have suffered on account of that. Having said that, when we look at Fino, our performance has been very good. We have grown at about above of 25% on a CAGR basis. Our profits has been growing at 70% plus on a year-on-year basis. So last year we did 1,000 plus crores of turnover and 40 crores plus of profit. In fact, we must be one of the very few payment companies or fintech companies or new age companies which is making money, which is into profitable business. And we are expecting that our performance will completely stand out compared to all other companies who are in the same space. So we believe at some point the correction will happen. People, at least for Fino, people will start to differentiate. We are solving a real problem, a real need. You can see there's a real problem which is there, and we are solving that real problem.
And
we are also growing it well.
30% market share.
We are growing at a good market share. The top line is growing. The bottom line itself is growing, and the operating leverage is also playing as the scale of the business is happening. So we believe at some point the corrections will happen. In life, I think nothing is permanent. The lows are also not permanent. The highs are also not permanent. So things will settle down at some point of time. One thing which is there, we need to continue to focus on our customers. You can see there are so many people around who are our customers. So in that process, if we continue to serve their needs and we continue to focus on the business model,
you continue to focus on the customer, on innovating. The other interesting part, the parent company, the investors, those are the cap tables, the promoters, include the likes of BPCL, ICICI Group. Where do they feature in as far as this growth story goes and synergies with their own company?
Yeah, that's a good
They must
question.
have made these investments for a reason, right?
Yes. So as far as our
Blackstone also.
yeah, Blackstone also. So as far as our investors as the holding company is concerned, Fino went public with 25% dilution. So 25% is owned by the public, 25% is owned by the holding company. In the holding company, we have likes of ICICI, BPCL, Blackstone, amongst others. So we have good strategic relationships with a lot of that. Like BPCL, we offer banking point in roughly more than 10,000 plus petrol pumps of BPCL. So you can actually go withdraw cash, do remittances, open an account in BPCL outlets. With ICICI, we are one of the largest business correspondents for them. So we are able to provide banking services for some of the ICICI bank customers. So there are synergies which have been built around our investors who are there at the holding company level. So in the growth of they also benefit not only from the business point of view but also from the financials which we make.
So I can now see one of the Fino merchant shops over here. So here, what are like this is would be. I'll ask my camera person to also show from outside. So this is what like a typical Fino merchant shop.
He's in this case he's a photographer. He takes photographs. He gets photocopy for people. So there are a lot of walk-ins which are happening for him for this purpose. So he comes here, does a transaction, and he also says, okay, you want to open a bank account with Fino, you want to transfer some money, you want to withdraw some cash. So there are a lot of footfalls which come because of the shop, and he also benefits because when people come to do banking, the guy can also take a photograph or something.
Make money?
He makes money. So in our business model, it's a very asset-light, scalable model. For every transaction we do, roughly 60 to 70% is shared with the merchant. So
is that the industry norm?
That's more or less the industry norm. You can say about 60% is the industry norm, which is shared with the merchant. So it's a bhagidari scheme. The merchant benefits. If the merchant is making money, then only we make money in a way.
Of course.
So the merchant gets the transaction for us.
All UPI based.
So there are different products like cash withdrawal you can do on a micro ATM through your debit card or through Aadhaar, which is again your fingerprint. You can transfer money on remittances through mobile.
Can we show the demo?
Yeah, please.
Let's go to a demo. Let's meet your merchant as well.
नमस्ते सौरभ जी, क्या हाल है आपके?
नमस्ते.
तीनों के साथ कार्य करने के लिए धन्यवाद. नयनतारा जी हैं, आपसे कुछ पूछेंगे?
हमारे दर्शकों को थोड़ा डेमो दिखाइए. मैंने तो कभी माइक्रो एटीएम देखा नहीं है. मैं आपको सच बोलती हूँ, मैं कोई धंधा करती नहीं हूँ, मेरी नौकरी है. तो आपको मुझे माइक्रो एटीएम दिखाना है. मैं देख रही हूँ कि यहाँ लिखा है एक साइड कि यहाँ तीनों पेटीएम बैंक की पासबुक भी मिलती है. I mean, it's a proper store. You got ATM cash available. क्या क्या सर्विसेज है? सब सारी सर्विसेज है.
इसका नाम ही इसीलिए लिखा गया है कि केंद्र एक और सुविधाएं अनेक. यहाँ पे अनेक तरीके की सुविधाएं आप ले सकते हो.
देखिए, आप पीछे जाइए and you show us as the big boss of Fino कि ये सब डेमो कैसे होता है.
I'm showing a micro ATM transaction where you can actually through a micro ATM you can withdraw money. Let me put this card inside. So easy to withdraw money through any bank card. You can withdraw it through the micro ATM machine. You can actually you can also withdraw money through your fingerprint, which can be done through the APS platform. Through the mobile app and the digital web app, you can actually transfer money from this place to your near and dear ones in your hometown. You can open a bank account with Fino. Can we show the debit card? And you can actually take a printout also, which is there. So this kind of debit card is there. So Fino Rupee debit card is there. You can you have a passbook also, a printer where you can print. So you can see this shop has virtually become a bank branch. It has all the facilities. It has a mobile app. It has a POS machine. It has a fingerprint scanner. It has a printer, and you can do your basic banking services through this point. So that is where Fino has been able to provide through this similar shops like 12.5 lakh shops across the country where you can go and access and do banking services in your account. So that's the revolution. That's the financial inclusion we are talking about.
So Mr. Gupta, as we start, winding down the interview and coming to a close to it, and thanks so much for the demo. Thank you, Saurabh ji. Namaste. There has been a rate hike, 35 basis points. We're talking on the same day as the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. a 35 basis point rate hike. When these rate hikes take place, tell us what happens in streets like this. Things get more expensive. There is anyway pressure on the wallet.
So whenever there's a rate hike, it results in a bank increasing some rates for the credit products.
But it
There
impact
are
your business, impact the Fino business.
Fino, in case of Fino, if the deposits are there, with rate hike, if we increase the rate, so they get a higher rate for the deposits as such.
But deposit rates are not going up. Deposit
but
rates are not going up, and deposit
largely-
growth is also not going up.
both things are not happening. In fact, credit growth is happening more
Correct.
than the debit. But normally we have seen in the case of fixed deposit, wherever there is a rate hike, the banks actually pass on some part of that as fixed deposit rate hike, because Fino doesn't offer fixed deposit.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
for us, this doesn't really
Really
make
bad.
any difference. Only thing is that our treasury income, because we invest 100% in government securities and fixed deposits, so we get benefit from the rate
Why
hike.
no insurance? Given the mandate from the top, from the Prime Minister's office itself, I noticed there is one thing very conspicuous by absence, that is insurance.
Yeah, we are selling insurance. So you are absolutely right. Maybe
This
Saurabh
particular
is
merchant doesn't
this
have it,
merchant doesn't sell it, but we sell health insurance, your
And now there are
two-wheeler
new
insurance.
fantastic rules coming in which will reduce the commission, the expenses, the idea being by penetration.
Yeah, IRD is making a lot of changes. In fact, we have partnerships with ICICI Pru, ICICI Lombard, Digit on multiple insurance products as such. So insurance is growing. Insurance is little difficult, especially for this segment. But I am sure with more information and more
But
knowledge,
big
people will get.
insurance have to work in places like this. They can't afford those premiums, right?
See, life insurance we have not seen to work that much. LIC has some market
No,
share,
I mean
but
non-life.
non-life, see, when the two-wheeler insurance came and they made it mandatory, then the two-wheeler, actually people are kind of aware of it, but they don't want to maybe spend on it, because a lot of people here look at experience. So if somebody gets a accident and he is hospitalized and insurance can claim it, so all of them will rush to get a hospital. But after a year, if nothing happens, they will say, "Hey, we paid money, but we did not get any benefit out of it." So that understanding of the insurance product, it's not like you pay for something and you will definitely get the benefit. An incident has to happen. That kind of, I think, experience and knowledge, people don't have that understanding.
Separate.
But it's over a period of time, definitely people are improving. Communication is improving. As you can see, everybody
No, I
around
think
here
that's right.
has smartphones.
The other thing that the Governor Das today has said is that they'll allow multiple blocks for credit when it comes to UPI. It'll also help in recurring payments.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah, I think it's good, because what is happening is that whenever you do a UPI transaction, for debit or credit, it hits the bank system for every transaction. So it's like it's kind of moving like a semi-wallet kind of a situation, where you can get money into a block of money you get into one
Like an
account.
escrow account of UPI, I can call it.
So we'll have to see how the mechanics will work. So you put 5,000 rupees into an UPI account, and through that you can then withdraw money, 100 rupees, 200 rupees, you can keep on transferring. You don't need to expose your main account every time, and also you don't
But
so many transactions will hit.
this account will be linked to your main account anyway. Now
Yeah,
they get you anyway.
But single
hacking
transaction on the
happens.
credit will definitely help.
How much do you suffer with cyber hack?
So see
Be
what is
honest.
happening. Yeah. I'm honestly there are two kinds of things. One is that if there is an attack on the bank, or if it is a OTP kind of a situation where a customer is sharing OTP. OTP situation is quite evident, and it is aware, and government and the cyber police, everybody is doing a lot of work. We have not faced any threats on the cyber attacks at the bank level, but OTP sharing by customers is something which is worrying, and I think government, banks, lot of awareness is being conducted.
So we're all ready for the new law. It's not going to be clear in this parliament session. So let's see. But, we're running out of time, Mr. Gupta, and I can see your
Thank you
staff
very much.
also. You have a meeting coming up. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Take care.
for showing us everything.
All
and,
the best.
this is what it's all about.
This is
covering-
the real Bharat. This is
covering-
Bharat,
and this is where you
and
need
this is
financial
where,
inclusion, right?
and you need banking here only,
And
because
vendor payments are not being held up, and all of this, and digital rupee is supposed to solve that.
yeah, CBDC is just around the corner. We'll have to see how the contours will work.
I don't know if you know how it's going to work. That's why I didn't even ask.
No. We know in terms of what is the
We know
architect for
what it is,
it.
but how it will work.
How will it work?
The
How
wallet
people will
and-
move in? Again in CBDC also, because
With
what
the
will
digital rupee.
the CBDC digital rupee, it is going to be a game changer, because now you can put a money in a particular wallet, which is the CBDC. It will have the same denominations, like 20 rupees, 100 rupee notes, and you use that account for transfer money to anybody. So you don't expose your main account,
account.
and it's like a money kept.
But then how do I
it's
get my
like,
change back?
it's
Remember that? Like,
e-wallet.
20 rupees, 30 rupees.
But you can
But
get
then
10.
it was 45 rupees. That's going to be
So you will have 5 rupees also. 5 rupee coin will be there.
We'll see how it works. And then you're going to give us another demo.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
do
you,
that.
Mr.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.
Ritesh,